Rightio, welcome to the test drive part of the video. Yeah, this is going to be a bit of fun. We've just done a drone shoot, so I've experienced this boat from down below in the cabin, and it is a windy day. The wind has picked up and it's kicking through a little bit, so you will notice that because the wind has increased. It's a nor'easter, typical summer's day today, so we're probably getting about 25 knots out there, and a considerable amount of ocean swell coming in through the heads. Anyway, I'm Dan Jones, welcome to Dan's Boat Life, and today we are on the Schaefer V33, boat from Brazil. My second experience on a Brazilian boat. This is cool. I want to see more boats from Brazil. Because you know what, they're a bit of a summer loving folk, and you do see a lot of Brazilians coming to Sydney and living it up, so it's good to see and experience a bit of their boating culture. And well, to be honest, this feels very sexy Mediterranean, this V33, so I think it's going to fit in quite well here in Sydney. But if you want to understand and see the details, we're going to be filming a walkthrough video coming separately to this one. This one I'm just going to focus on the driving. But what can I tell you? She's a cutting bow up the front. She's a deep V underwater profile, and she's an open style of boat, center console. The engine setup we have on this particular boat, we've got twin 250 Mercury outboards. Your outboard options can go from twin 200s to up to twin 300s. You can also have an inboard option. It's petrol, so you can have, I think it was a Volvo Mercruiser, I could be wrong on that. And the horsepower options look like they were going from somewhere like 380 to 430, single motor. So that's interesting. I suspect in our part of the world, the outboards are going to attract all the attention. The dash, what do we have here? This has got real sophisticated Mediterranean dayboat vibes, is what I'm getting immediately. I've got the twin Simrad display just up ahead, the compass up on the top side there, windlass operation. I've got a bow thruster control here, navigation, anchor, courtesy, engine room hatch, exhaust, horn, bilge pumps, windscreen wipers, my digital throttles just here, and my VHF is mounted here, but I can control from here. Got a Fireboy, key starts on both sides of the steering wheel, and a phone charger and safety lanyard on starboard. The ergonomics, like I've actually got the seat's quite soft. This is very loungy. This is the sort of seat you could sit on all day. Essentially, your bum sort of feels a bit nestled into the cushions, and I've got it in the down position at the moment. You can also transition from here to a standing, and then it becomes a lean post, and again it's quite soft, so cruising around this is going to be quite comfortable, I think. Yeah, I think this is going to be quite pleasurable, because your guest, you could have more than just one person joining you at the helm here. We've got a princess barreling down on me at the moment, not sure where he's going. I will just hold my course, and no, he's going to just, I'll go a little bit further to starboard. There we go. And he's going to keep what are you doing, buddy? Some people don't know which way to pass on the waterways. I'm keeping to starboard, and this guy's just decided to also go straight in front of me. Anyway, you get some of them. So back to what I was talking about, the ergonomics of the helm just here. You've got nice seat just here, which you could seat 4 people just here, and you could also have 2 guests here. You can operate this quite comfortably, and transitioning from standing to seating is quite easy. We also have a couple of drink holders just here, and you've got these footrests here and here. So when you are standing or sitting, you can sit up like this, you can secure yourself like that, or stand up like normal. So that's all pretty good. And I can see that the wheel is adjustable. In terms of my space, so if you were a bigger bloke, you could probably do that, give yourself a little bit more room, and depending on what height you are, you may adjust that as you see fit. The height itself under the T-top, you know, I'm 5'7", you've got heaps of space up here. You know, you've got well over 6 foot of standing height just here, and that extends all the way out to the side. So you're very well shaded. All the people up the front here are going to be protected from the sun, and we do have a decent amount of forward wind protection from this fixed Perspex windscreen up the front here, which is also going to give us a little bit of spray protection, and I can see that it's wrapped around to the side, so we'll see what that wind does when we're underway. The guests at the back, well, they're going to be in the sun, and that's what you kind of expect on a style of boat like this. So engine trim operation up and down with the with your thumb just here. I've got trim tabs just here, and as I mentioned, the bow thruster as well. I'll just start with the engines in the down position. I've got my speed here and my revs here, so let's get it on the plane. So just coming through 2,500 revs. We'll just sit it there at 2,500. Tiny bit of bow raise, really irrelevant on a style of boat like this. The visibility is epic. You know, you really don't have any blind spots on something like this. It would be great as a big boat tender and operating with guests, picking people up off different situations is going to be super simple. That's giving me a speed return of 9.5 knots at 2,000. Sorry, I backed off to 2,300 revs there. Engine still in the down position, and we're just about to come into some swell, so we're not in flat water conditions. SOG, my speed over ground is just rolling through 12 knots, and it feels like the boat just wants to get moving, and this is a boat that you do that on. You know, at 12 knots we're making, you know, considerable waves. That's going to be semi-offensive for somebody if I was passing in a no-wash zone. So let's just get moving. So my revs at 3,300, my speed 16 knots, 17 knots and climbing. I'm just going to give the engines a little bit of a trim up to see if that does anything. So that gives me 3,400 revs there, and I'm just settling on 19, 20 knots speed there. I will do a full speed run, but I'm probably going to make my way through these waves and this rough water before we do that. You know, this is my first experience on this boat behind the helm, so I don't like to just go flat out hell for leather until I actually understand the thing. So we're just coming out into the exposed water where we've got the ocean swell coming in, and I'm just increasing my speed to about 22 knots. I'm going to start playing with my trim tabs. So I'm just going to give a third trim tab down. I'm just going to go into these waves. I'm doing that at 23 to 24 knots. 3,200 revs, 22, varying my speed there with a quarter to a third of trim tab in the down position. That's comfortable. So I guess that's what you would expect. I'm going into the swell of a cutting bow day boat like this. We don't have any water coming up over the bow. We've got high sides, and with digging our nose just that little bit down into the oncoming swell, it's giving me quite a comfortable motion, and I'm going directly into these swells. At the moment they're of a height, they're no more than about 1 metre, where it's okay, and I'm about to get the wind chop coming across from the northeast direction. So I got ocean swell coming in off my nose, and I've got wind chop now coming from that direction of about 23 to 25 knots. So what I'll do, I'll just adjust my angle of attack so I'm meeting the wind chop and the ocean swell somewhere in the middle, and I'll just keep that bow down. We'll just cruise through here gently at about 22 knots. And the reason I would do this, you know, you're going to have guests on board, you're going to be socialising. What's the point of trying to launch the boat through these waves and then lose the confidence of your friends or just freak them out unnecessarily? So you might as well just go through these ocean conditions at a sensible speed, utilise the hull's capability to keep you comfortable. I'm yet to see a drop of water over the bow, and when you get into the calmer stuff, that's when you can make it a little bit more exciting. So what I'm going to do in a second, I'm going to turn downwind and I'm going to let the swells come in on my port beam and the wind will then be behind me. And I'm still sitting on the 22 knots. But once we turn downwind, we'll start to take it through the rev range a little bit. We'll just see what a fast cruise is. I can definitely feel that the slow cruise in choppy water is about that 21, 22 knots. I'm just doing a slow turn here. A couple of waves. And I've still got a third trim tab down. Now I'm just going to go down the swells. Sorry, downwind with the swell on my port beam. So now it feels like I should raise the trim tabs. I've still got about 1/8 trim tab down. And my speed is ranging between the 23 and the 25 knots just now, with swells coming like this and going like that. And yeah, this is comfortable. I still think we could do a little bit faster for our fast cruise. I'm going to do that when I get into some actual calm water, so I can do this boat justice. Hopefully you can see on this picture out that there is some swell, some bounce back happening. Okay. All right, let's bring it up to 27 knots. 4,000 revs. We've just broken 4,000 revs. We did all of that under 4,000. So when your engines are running below 4,000 revs or even below 5,000 revs, if it's a Mercury outboard like we have today, you're running very fuel efficiently. Once you go over 5,000, you do start to suck a bit of that juice, and look, you'll notice it. This boat, it's got, I believe it's got twin 200 litre tanks. Twin 200 litres, Drew? Twin 200 litres on this boat? Yeah, okay. I'll put it in the screen, in the description. So, 2 fuel tanks. We're not sure if it's twin 200s or twin 250s. I'll put it in the editing down below. And we've used about 200 litres. So, we've got maybe half to 60% left on board. And there's Drew, myself, and some equipment downstairs. But sitting on downwind conditions now, raised my trim tabs, and coming into the flatter water, still just wind chop, but we've left the ocean swell. You know, I'm doing 28 knots. 28 knots and comfortable. So let's, at 3,900 revs, let's increase that a little bit now that we're in more sensible conditions. I'm going to raise the trim tabs entirely. So now the harbour is flattening out. I've just got a little bit of wind chop left. I'll be hooking around the corner soon, and I'm going to put the boat through some turns, and I will run it up to full speed. 4,200 revs, that's giving me a really easy speed return of 32.5 knots. This is cool. This is really cool. So I'm not going to do any turns yet. I got a few people getting in the way. A couple of fishermen over there, some other blokes on tinnies and a couple of yachts over there. So I'll wait until I get around the corner to open it up. But 31, 32 knots, very comfortable. We'll just give it a little bit more, you know. So that's 4,500 revs now. I'm just going to give the engine trim just a little trim up. Yeah, that bumped it up another 50 revs. And, you know, I got a speed return of 34 knots. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Got a little bit of powerboat wash coming on my port side, so I'm just going to angle the sharp bit of the hull. Choppity chop. That's good. You always want to, when you have these sharp angled boats, if you can, focus your angle of attack or the sharpest part of the boat into the oncoming swell, whether it's powerboat wash or waves, you're going to just chop it up a little bit better. If you approach it at the wrong angle and bang it into the side of the boat, you're just going to hear the bang. It's not the end of the world, but it's just something worth noting. So I might hook it around this corner. We're going to get out of the wind now, so I'll start to take the boat through its paces. But I feel secure. I don't feel like I'm getting thrown around whatsoever. I'm enjoying this driving position. Reaching the throttle is good. Oh, check out this view. This never gets boring. I'm coming around there at 32 knots. I'll just slow it down a little bit, just so you can appreciate the beauty that is Sydney Harbour. How about that? You know, this is why you get a boat. How good is that? Middle of the week, get out here and enjoy yourself. Okay, so now we're out of the wind. I've got some protected waters. I can actually wind this boat up to full speed. I'm just going to pass that little super yacht there so we don't annoy them having their lunch with too many waves. I'll go a little bit wide. Coming in at 27 knots. So I think if you're somebody who is maybe stepping up from, you know, there's a lot of day boats under the 30-foot size range, and the options for many of the manufacturers go straight up close to 40 feet, and that's expensive, and it also requires another skill set or another skill level. I think this V33 is going to sit in a nice little happy spot, affordable and manageable. So that's something that not every manufacturer can offer. So let's just give it some wide open throttle. Trim tabs all the way up. Woo-hoo-hoo. I'm going to go downwind. Okay, rolling through 34, 36, 37 knots, 5,000 revs and climbing, raising my engines, 5,200 revs and climbing, 41 knots, doing that in a straight line, 5,400 revs and climbing, 41.5 knots, 5,500 and climbing, 40, we're going to call it 42.5 knots. 42.5 knots, and that was controllable, that was comfortable, and it was also dry. Let's just hook it around the corner here, and let's just try some turns. So now when I'm turning into some choppy water, because I'm back into the wind chop, but the boat's got a good amount of lean on it, but I notice I don't lose my visibility because the roof line is such that it doesn't get in my way. So now if I just do some turns, I'm finding myself very comfortably looking around. I've got a ferry up my arse, so I'll just get out of his way. So the heel, the amount of heel, it's more fun than anything. It's not, that's not going to put any of your guests off, and I find that quite controllable and easy. What we'll do, we'll just have to do one little turn, I think. You can't come out on a beautiful day like today and not put the boat through a burnout. So let's do it. I think here's my opportunity. I'm clear of all the other boats. Engines down. Let's hook it in. Oh yeah, she grabs pretty well. So I'm doing that at 27 knots. Beautiful. I feel like I do it hands-free, so like she's actually tracking quite nicely. That's the hull form just there, doing its thing through the waves. Boom, boom, boom. So that's great. For a 33-foot med sexy day boat, this thing's got balls, this thing's got capability, this thing's got visibility and functionality along with the look. So, you know, if you're wanting to step up from your current day boat because you enjoy this lifestyle and you enjoy what this style of boat offers, if you're looking for that support vessel for your other boat, or you've just bought the new fancy waterfront house and you want something to look good out the front, this is definitely an option you should consider. You know, this is going to tick many of those boxes, and it's going to impress you, and I think it's going to make you feel good, and you're going to use the boat in a way that hopefully makes you smile. You know, 21 knots slow cruise, 27 knots fast cruise, 42.5 knots top speed, and we're doing that with a couple of 250 outboards, so moderately sized motors, moderate fuel consumption, but you're getting the big boat feedback. So yeah, if you're interested in the walkthrough, follow the link in the description below. This has been Dan's Boat Life. My name's Dan Jones. I shall see you on the next one.